it's a genocide. I'm a congressional staffer, been on the Hill for several years, processing like the images and videos, firsthand accounts. It's harder to stay away from, using the term genocide.
Have you heard any of your other colleagues express privately that they're just disgusted by what's happening?
Oh yeah, so many.
There are few institutions in the world more loyal to the state of Israel than the United States Congress, giving Israel nearly $4 billion a year and almost $300 billion since the end of World War II, a sum large enough to end world hunger. The United States' relationship with Israel has been described as unconditional. In the last few weeks, Congress passed a resolution essentially rubber stamping Israel's massacre of Gaza. Few would expect any change to come from the halls of Congress, but in the last few weeks, we've seen staffers in Congress and executive departments express their opposition to Israel's massacre through letters and resignations. Tonight, we're speaking to an anonymous Capitol Hill staffer who's disgusted with Israel's massacre of Gaza and describes it as a genocide.
When you see these images coming out of Gaza, how does it make you feel to know that it's people you're working alongside that are really enabling this?
Yeah, it's definitely like hard to work in like an institution like this. I always tell people, kind of like be kind to each other and cruel to institutions. And like, I think there's a lot of, moneyed interest that have like, strong influence over, democratically elected members of Congress who are supposed to represent their constituencies. When they're making these policy decisions for members of Congress, they're doing so with extremely limited information. So they'll kind of like take, the talking points or the paragraph fact sheet that they get from lobbyists or other special interest groups.
So you're saying some of the people that are making these decisions don't even really understand the issues fully?
Correct.
Have you heard any of your other colleagues, other staffers express privately that they're just, disgusted by what's happening?
Oh yeah, so many. I mean, I think like there are a lot in all sorts of offices, whether it's like, someone who works for a progressive member, someone who works for like a, more moderate, Democrat. It's like, in every single congressional district, we have levels of poverty, lots of unhoused folk, children who go to school, hungry or malnourished. Like, hey, we got money for, wars, but we don't have money to feed children. We don't have money to, cancel student debt so that people can kind of move on with their lives.
You could have chosen not to speak to us. You could have chosen to just go on with your work. Why did you choose to speak out about this issue?
Yeah, I mean, I think like as a Jewish staffer on the Hill, it's really important all Jewish voices are heard. I think there is kind of like a generational divide among Jews in the United States on their perspective towards Palestinian liberation. I want to hopefully give other Jews on the Hill, and maybe Jews elsewhere, some courage. Like hopefully, they see this and like, oh, like there are, hopefully they feel less alone and maybe more confident in speaking up in their workplace. Staff should speak up. No one can limit your free speech, even though some, offices might try to. They really can't.
Do you have any message you'd want to send to the Palestinian people?
You've got some friends here in the heart of the empire who see your courage and who love you endlessly and extend a ton of solidarity.